Hello everyone, this is MNL2, and today I will be doing something a little bit different, as I'm going to be taking you guys on an adventure through the thrill capital of the world, Six Flags Magic Mountain. This video is mostly intended for people who are unfamiliar with the layout of Six Flags Magic Mountain, or for those who want to see the most up-to-date condition of the park. This video was filmed on January 1st of 2023. Before we get started, feel free to like the video and subscribe down below to help out the channel. Thank you. Now let's go ahead and begin the adventure. So we will first start our journey by of course driving to the park. If you are driving or carpooling and plan on parking, then you will pretty much use any of these lanes except for the far left one to pay for parking or to scan your pass or ticket at the booth. If you're getting dropped off by anyone, like if you're Ubering, then you would actually use the far left lane, which takes you to the drop-off area at the front of the park. Anyways, fast forwarding through the line, you can then drive to the main parking lot. On the right hand side is RV parking, and on the left is the main lot. The earlier you arrive at the park, the better, because you'll be able to park a lot closer to the entrance, meaning much less walking. That pretty much applies to all theme parks though. Upon parking your car, we then proceed to take on the tedious walk to the front entrance. The earlier you arrive, the less distance you have to walk, and having priority parking is a huge benefit. Anyways, we eventually make it to the front entrance, and though it isn't the most grand entrance ever, it is certainly a welcoming one. This is where you can buy a single day ticket and you will go through security at this point. After going through security, you then enter this mini plaza that includes a season pass service building, a restroom, and some foot space as you wait for either Magic Mountain or Hurricane Harbor to open their gates. Obviously in January, Hurricane Harbor is not open, however when it is open, the placement of the two entrances makes it super convenient to park hop if that's something you're interested in during the summer. Anyways, after going through the turnstiles, you will finally enter the actual amusement park, which initially greets you with the Looney Tunes Superstore, a funnel cake store, an ice cream shop, the Six Flags photo location, another season pass service location, the guest services, candy shop, the Six Flags Emporium, and as we keep walking straight, you will find the all-day locker location as well as the private pavilions for group events, and of course the Flash Pass headquarters. If you have early entry, then occasionally this entire section will be open early for you to explore, which makes it convenient to do things like purchasing flash passes or lockers, or snooping around the Emporium prior to accessing the rest of Magic Mountain. After curving around the Emporium, we'll also find one of the newer restrooms, and directly in front of us, the Grand American Carousel. Beyond that, you will have a nice picturesque view of Revolution, the world's first ever looping roller coaster, as well as Tatsu, one of the greatest B&M roller coasters I have ever ridden. Aside from that, this entrance plaza has plentiful seating and lots of foot space, so it usually doesn't get too extremely congested. But anyways, if you were to make a right immediately after entering the park, then you will be greeted with the giant water fountain and another great view of Revolution, Tatsu, and the iconic Sky Tower in the background. At this point, you really have two options as to where you want to go. Six Flags Magic Mountain is essentially a giant circle, so at the entrance you can choose to go right towards Full Throttle or left towards Revolution. Since X2 is my personal favorite coaster at this park, I usually start by heading left, but when Twisted Colossus was brand new, I almost always went right. But anyways, here we are heading right towards Full Throttle, which is the closest major roller coaster to the front entrance. On our way over, we will pass by the former Jelly Belly store on our right, not sure what's going on with that place anymore, and then on our left you'll find a jewelry store. In my personal opinion, I'm not sure how much business this store gets, because I don't really think most people go jewelry shopping at a Six Flags park, but well, it's there I guess. Across from that is another seating area for the nearby food locations, and then after a bit more walking, you will finally reach the entrance plaza for Full Throttle as well as the Full Throttle Nights stage. On the opposite side of Full Throttle are those food locations I mentioned. I won't be going into depth of any of the food locations or what they have to offer, because I actually have a video on my channel showcasing precisely that, featuring the legendary RMC guy, so feel free to check that video out. But anyways, as of right now, Full Throttle is open. Well, not in the video, it did reopen eventually, but it's only on one train, so this might be a tedious coaster to participate on considering its capacity and reliability. But we got lucky to see a test cycle as we walked by. Moving on, we will reach the Full Throttle Sports Bar, which has reopened since my last update video. The food rating also went from a B to an A, so that's also good to see. Next to that is a coaster candy store, and across from that is the former entrance to the defunct Log Jammer attraction, which was replaced by Full Throttle. Then you will pass by one of the entrances to Bugs Bunny World, which is the main kids section of the park. I won't be walking through this area, but it will include 3 kiddie coasters, a jungle gym, ball pit, playground type thing, and a plethora of Looney Tunes themed kids rides. Across from Bugs Bunny World is the barely used Golden Bear Theater. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that this theater is only used once a year for the annual cheer events that the park hosts. Apart from that, this giant theater sits mostly dormant, which is a bit sad, but oh well, I guess. As we keep walking past the theater, we will discover the second entrance for Bugs Bunny World, with a much more prominent entry sign. Then we will pass by another food location, Wascals, and eventually we'll come across the second kids location, Whistle Stop Park. During holiday in the park it was called the North Pole, but anyways, this tiny little area hosts 2 attractions, Magic Flyer and the Whistle Stop Train. I personally feel like this section could use some more love and attention, but that's just me. Across from the Whistle Stop Park is Pistachio Park, which is just a tiny little plot of grass that no one really uses. But it's there, I guess, if you want to lie down or frolic in the grass. Moving forwards, we'll find some more restrooms on the right-hand side, and on the left-hand side, we'll find 2 of the park's scarce family/flat rides. We have the Buccaneer, the swinging pirate ship, and Swashbuckler, the spinning swings. Directly across from that, we'll find the super impressive dramatic entrance to a not so super impressive roller coaster, Goliath. If you have seen a handful of my videos before, then you'll already know how I feel about this coaster. If this is your first time on my channel, however, then let's just say that I don't have a very positive relationship with this attraction. After passing by Goliath, you'll find a few more food locations on either side of you, and then we'll proceed to pass underneath the legendary Sunday the Ride. If you don't know why I call it that, well then luckily for you, I have a full video explaining exactly that. For newcomers to this park, it's worth mentioning that this roller coaster is incredibly loud, and if you aren't used to it, this thing will definitely shock you as you walk under it if it launches. It literally sounds like a fighter jet. As of right now, this coaster is temporarily closed, but I doubt it will be for much longer. After walking under Sunday the Ride, you'll see DC Universe in the distance, but on your right you'll find a few arcade games, a store, as well as the entrance and exit to Lex Luthor Drop of Doom. We'll be coming back to DC Universe in a bit, but for now, here's the entrance sign for Lex Luthor, which is my personal favorite drop tower. Anyways, moving past this area, we will approach Scream Punk District, home to a highly regarded roller coaster as well as a not so highly regarded roller coaster. Anyways, I really love the entrance sign to Scream Punk District, and I also love the music that plays in this section of the park. I thoroughly enjoy the attention to detail in this area. Before I continue, on the left hand side you will find the Gearworks Theater, which is still occasionally used. But as I was saying, I just love the whole steampunk vibe here. It's legendary. Past the theater, you'll find some more restrooms on the right-hand side, as well as Twisted Witches, another food location. As we keep moving, there's some awesome theming placed on either side of us, and we will eventually be led to the entrance of Twisted Colossus, the RMC hybrid dueling roller coaster. This ride is a lot of people's absolute favorite roller coaster, and this was my personal #1 coaster for 4 years, from when it opened in 2015 all the way until I rode Railblazer for the first time in 2019. As of right now, I've ridden over 200 roller coasters, and Twisted Colossus still manages to rest in my top 15 somewhere. Going past Twisted Colossus, we'll meet a dead end which is home to one of the 2 7-looper roller coasters in the park, Scream. This coaster is notoriously known for being a parking lot coaster, so much so that even the ride-ops will joke about it. This isn't a very popular coaster among both enthusiasts and the general public, however I absolutely love this coaster, and I ended up riding it 5 times straight later this day, as I think it's enjoyable, forceful, a bit whippy, and it's really not that rough. Turning around, we will now be making our way out of Scream Punk District. On our left, you'll see the overflow queue for Twisted Colossus. If you visit Magic Mountain and you see this section of the queue being filled up, well, just know that Twisted Colossus's wait time will be well over an hour. But anyways, here's a closer look at the entrance for Twisted Colossus. Heading up these stairs, you'll be able to access Twisted Witches, which is very rarely open. So if you visit and this place is actually open, consider yourself a lottery winner. Speeding things up a bit, eventually we'll fully exit Scream Punk District, and then we will be moving on to DC Universe. DC Universe greets you with a brand new entrance sign replacing the old box archway. The first attraction on your right hand side will be Teen Titans Turbo Spin, formerly known as Wonder Woman Lasso of Truth, and before that known as Gordon Gearworks. So this classic roundup attraction has undergone several name changes. Anyways, across from Teen Titans, there's going to be a plethora of seating as well as a snack stand. And then you'll come across the newest attraction to open at Six Flags Magic Mountain, and that is Wonder Woman Flight of Courage, the RMC single rail coaster. Nearby is also going to be a new DC gift shop, and next to that is the much more classic Batman the Ride roller coaster, which also boasts a brand new entrance sign and a nice placement of the Batmobile. But going back to Wonder Woman, this ride does get pretty long lines, and when it isn't running either 3 or 4 trains, the line can move a bit slow, so I'd say get to this ride early. But anyways, across from Wonder Woman is another DC gift shop and a bunch of just wide open concrete. Teen Titans Pizza used to be here, as well as the Flash Speed Force, both of which were given unannounced departures, which is a bit sad in my opinion. On the other side of these red construction walls were supposed to be a brand new restroom replacing the old DC restrooms, but I'm not sure if they plan on going through with the construction or whatever's going on. As we leave DC Universe, we'll be taking a right, and we're going to enter the boardwalk section of the park, which includes some food locations as well as the majority of the park's carnival games. The main attraction in the boardwalk, of course, is going to be Crazanity, the Zamperla Giant Discovery. This is quite a popular attraction, and it will receive large lines, so this is another attraction you might want to get to rather early if you plan on riding it. Every Six Flags park I've been to has one of these things, and they are all super duper fun, and they are a great contrast to this park's massive roller coaster lineup. Passing Crazanity, we'll find some more seating as well as the former entrance to the defunct Tidal Wave, the Intamin Shoot the Chutes water ride. Not sure what they're going to do with this whole area because there's still a lot of leftover empty space even with Wonder Woman now standing there. Across from that, we will find the standard bumper cars and scrambler attractions. And now we enter Metropolis, which in my opinion is just an extension of the DC universe. Here are the entrances of Jammin' Bumpers and Scrambler. Not super special, but they are good family rides. Anyways, Metropolis includes the giant B&M stand-up The Riddler's Revenge, as well as the indoor shooting dark ride Justice League Battle for Metropolis. ASO Clubs is also here, but that's another food location that is very rarely open. There's also another DC gift shop that is attached to the Justice League building. Next door will be some more food locations and a Studio 6F, which is like a general merchandise location. And then we will arrive at Six Flags Magic Mountain's oldest operating roller coaster, Gold Rusher. This classic Aero mine train opened with the park in 1971 and still continues to operate strong to this day. Past Gold Rusher will be a path split, where you can either travel upwards to the Samurai Summit or continue forwards towards the underground. We will be looping back later to Samurai Summit, but for now, we will continue along our path, passing by this cool new Cheetos popcorn mix stand, and then to the entrance of Jetstream, one of the park's few remaining water rides. There's also some vending machines and claw machines located across from Jetstream's entrance. As we keep walking forwards, we will come across the entrance to Dive Devil, the park's sky coaster. These things are actually really fun, and I'd say it's worth trying at least once. You'll also soon come across Pacific Speedway, the go-karts. Both this and Dive Devil are upcharge attractions, meaning you do have to pay an extra fee to ride these. The reason why is because of incredibly low capacity on both of these attractions. Now we enter the underground, which is still the newest themed area of the park. And this is home to West Coast Racers and Apocalypse. You'll also find a variety of food and merchandise stores in the underground, as well as some prop vehicles courtesy of West Coast Customs. Anyways, on your left-hand side, you'll see the entrance to one of Magic Mountain's newest roller coasters, West Coast Racers, which is a personal fan favorite of mine. I really do love the entirety of the underground. It's very aesthetically pleasing. As we walk past the queue for West Coast Racers, we'll find some more seating on the left-hand side, and one of the park's nicest restrooms on the right-hand side. Beyond that, we arrive at Apocalypse's entrance, which admittedly doesn't fit in with the rest of the underground, but Apocalypse was here first. Nonetheless, it is a super underrated and fun wooden roller coaster in my opinion. If you keep going under West Coast Racers' stall, you'll find a dead end, which is home to the abandoned Slingshot. It's currently unknown as to whether or not this attraction will ever reopen. This is also another upcharge attraction as well. Anyways, we will continue our journey by exiting the underground and traveling up this little scenic pathway which takes you underneath both Ninja and Jetstream. There's really nothing at all located along this pathway, so we're just going to speed up this part of it until we reach the next actual area. So eventually we'll be met with Tatsu overhead with its brand new paint job, as well as the exit to Roaring Rapids on our right hand side. Also, don't mind me trying to multitask by texting while filming occasionally. Anyways, we'll soon be met with the iconic M&M stairs which takes you up to the top of Samurai Summit. Since we skipped Samurai Summit earlier, we are going to be traveling there now, and afterwards we'll come back to the same spot to continue past Tatsu and Roaring Rapids. Anyways, down on your right you will find the giant outdoor switchback queue for Tatsu, and as you keep walking forwards, you'll pass underneath Tatsu's switch track next to the loading station for Tatsu, and you can get a peek at how long the line is for Tatsu as well. Once you go up these stairs, you'll finally arrive at the peak of Samurai Summit, which is the highest point in elevation in the park. Unfortunately, the attraction at the peak of Samurai Summit has been sitting abandoned for several years, and that would be Sky Tower. This ride's future is unknown, but I would love to see it return one day. Near Sky Tower is the iconic aero-suspended coaster Ninja, which still operates strong to this day. Across from Ninja is the upper station of Magic Mover, formerly known as the Helpful Honda Express, and before that, known as the Orient Express. This is the park's only transportation ride left, and it takes you from the main entrance plaza to the top of Samurai Summit. Anyways, as we walk down this wide path, we find a building used for Fright Fest, and further down you will find some restrooms on the other side. Eventually, if you keep going, you will come across the entrance to Sunday the Ride and the abandoned Laughing Dragon Pizza. As mentioned earlier, Sunday the Ride has been closed, so I won't be getting much closer. Anyways, if you take a left, you will find that hill that we skipped earlier, and this is the hill that takes you between Metropolis and Samurai Summit. It is quite a hike as it's super steep and it can be quite tiring to travel up. Going down is a breeze, but walking upwards is quite a workout, so honestly, try your best to avoid going up this way. You do get that great view of Ninja and West Coast Racers though, which is lovely. This is also where you'll find the dive loop and tunnel for Full Throttle. If you're in this area, you will very loudly hear Ozzy Osbourne if Full Throttle happens to cruise by. Eventually, you'll reach the bottom of this hill, which dumps you near the entrance of Gold Rusher and that Cheeto stand that we saw earlier. Now that we've explored Samurai Summit, let's get back to those M&M stairs. So if you choose to go past the M&M stairs, then we'll find a drink location and some vending machines, as well as the entrance of Tatsu on the left-hand side. I had just checked the time on my watch, as you can see shortly, and if I remember properly, the time was about 11:30 a.m., meaning the park has only been open for about an hour, yet Tatsu's queue has already been filled up, so this is yet another attraction that you'd probably want to get to earlier in the day. Luckily, Tatsu does have a single rider line, so if you're coming to the park by yourself, then definitely take advantage of that. Across from Tatsu is the park's standard rapids ride, Roaring Rapids. It's been closed for quite a while, and I'm not sure when it's supposed to reopen. As we continue forwards, we'll find some more carnival games on our left, and frankly, I'm not too sure if these are even used anymore. But across from that is another food location. Past this is an arcade and some more restrooms on our left-hand side. As we continue down this pathway, we'll be traveling underneath part of Revolution, but there's really nothing else in this path aside from the Christmas lights, which probably won't be there anymore by the time you see this video. So we'll just speed this part up a little until we eventually arrive at the next area. So this used to be a Panda Express, then it turned into a Chop 6, and now it's sadly a pizza place. So that's just a yikes. But anyways, here we are in Baja Ridge, which is the section of the park in which Viper and X2 are located, the two Aero masterpieces, in my opinion. If you continue down the main path, you'll first come across the exit and then the station building to Viper, which at the moment I recorded was temporarily delayed, but it did open shortly after, and I treated myself to 9 consecutive rides on this coaster since it was one of the very few that didn't have a long line later in the day. If we were to keep going down the path, we'll get to the entrance archway of Viper, but instead we'll take a left so that we can take you past the pizza place and all the way to the entrance of X2. X2 has been closed for quite a while, and unfortunately, when X2 is closed, then they also close the bridge that takes you to the entrance, so the sign is literally the closest that you can get. To be fair, X2 is literally the only thing across the bridge, so without that ride being open, guests would have no reason to go that way anyways. Taking a right and heading down these stairs, we'll be met with the iconic Magic Mountain Wall of Fame, as I like to call it, aka the greatest coasters ever built, which I think is a nice touch to this park that I haven't seen at any other Six Flags parks. If you were to take a right here, then you'll basically just go back to Viper's entrance. But since we already explored that area, we'll be taking a left and heading under X2's bridge, past more of the Wall of Fame. Interestingly, they have not yet added Wonder Woman Flight of Courage, though they don't really have space for it, so I'm not exactly sure what the plan for that is. But at least they managed to add West Coast Racers, as it replaced the slot that Green Lantern occupied on the wall. Moving past that, we've essentially explored the entire park at this point. This wide path will take us all the way back to the main entrance plaza. If you were to take a left at the end of this path, then you will arrive at the entrance of Revolution. If you want a quick life hack, there's actually a shortcut to get from the entrance plaza to the area by Tatsu. If you go through the exit of Revolution, you can actually go up some stairs that we passed by earlier, which saves you time since you don't have to walk all the way past Viper and X2. Back to the entrance plaza, here's where you will once again find the carousel and maybe catch Revolution coasting by. This is also where you're going to find the bottom station for Magic Mover, which as mentioned earlier takes you to the top of Samurai Summit. You'll also find the Plaza Cafe here, and then we will end up where we started at the beginning of this video. So, I hope you guys found this video useful, or at least entertaining at all. If you would like to see more videos of this style, then feel free to let me know down below in the comments, and perhaps I could do tours of other parks. But anyways, I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Goodbye!